It started as a dare, just a stupid dare that was supposed to end in laughter, not terror. We were 5 friends, exploring the old Fairmount mine on the outskirts of town, a place everyone said was haunted. I never believed that stuff. It was just a collapsed coal mine, sealed decades ago, after a gas explosion killed 17 workers. The town turned it into a ghost story, but to us, it was just an abandoned piece of history. It was supposed to be simple. Go in, record a few clips, post them online, and prove we weren't scared. But when I think about that night now, I wish I'd never gone, because I came out 12 hours later, alone. We reached the mine just before dusk. The sun was bleeding orange over the hills, and the air smelled like rust and rain. Tyler carried the flashlights, Mason brought the camera, and I had the map we found online. The entrance was covered in weeds and rusted warning signs, the kind that says, "Danger, unstable structure." Tyler laughed and said, "Perfect place for a viral video." We joked our way in, ducking under the broken gate and stepping into the dark. The temperature dropped almost instantly, and the sound of our footsteps echoed forever. The deeper we went, the thicker the air got, like breathing through a wet cloth. About 100 feet in, Mason pointed his flashlight at a collapsed section of tunnel. "This is where the bodies were found," he said, half grinning. "Shut up," I muttered, trying to sound casual. But inside, something about that place didn't feel right. It was too quiet, like the earth was holding its breath. We found an old service ladder that went down into a lower shaft. Tyler insisted we climb it, even though the metal looked older than our grandparents. "Just for a few minutes," he said. "Then we go back." The first few rungs creaked, but held. The air grew colder as we descended. When my boots hit the bottom, I realized how deep we were. The tunnel stretched both ways, swallowed in total black. Our flashlights barely cut through it. The walls glistened with moisture, and every sound we made came back to us delayed, like the mine itself was whispering. "Okay," Mason said, switching on his camera. "Say hi to the ghosts." We laughed, but it was forced. That's when we heard it. A metallic clang far away, somewhere deeper in the mine. We all froze. Tyler whispered, "You heard that too, right?" "Probably just a rock falling," I said. But I didn't believe it. That sound was too sharp, too deliberate. Then the ground trembled. Not much, just enough to make dust rain from the ceiling. Mason cursed. "That's it. We're going back up." We turned toward the ladder, just in time to see part of the ceiling collapse. It happened so fast, I didn't even scream. A roar of rock and dirt, our lights spinning wildly, and then darkness, complete, suffocating darkness. When I opened my eyes, my ears were ringing. My flashlight was cracked, the beam flickering weakly. Tyler was coughing somewhere to my left, and Mason was screaming, "Help! Somebody help us!" The ladder was gone, buried under a wall of rock. We were trapped. For the first few minutes, we all shouted, hoping someone outside would hear, but the mine swallowed every sound. It was like yelling into a vacuum. My throat went dry from the dust, and panic started creeping in. Tyler kicked at the rocks, his hands bleeding. "We can dig out." "No," I said, trying to stay calm. "If we loosen the wrong thing, it could cave in more." He didn't listen. He just kept clawing at the rubble until Mason grabbed him. "Stop, man, just stop." That's when we heard it again, a sound from the darkness behind us. It was faint, like shuffling feet on gravel. We turned our flashlights, but the beams didn't reach far enough. The sound stopped, "Who's there?" Mason called. No answer, just the steady drip of water somewhere in the black. Hours passed. At least, it felt like hours. Our phones had no signal. The air was growing heavier, the kind that pressed against your chest. We took turns yelling for help, but our voices came back twisted, like someone else was shouting them back at us from deep inside the tunnels. Tyler was the first to crack. He started muttering about hearing whispers, said he saw someone standing in the dark. We told him it was just the shadows. But then Mason froze and said, "No, I saw it too." I turned, shining my light where they were looking. For a second, I thought I saw a figure, man standing at the far end of the tunnel. His face was pale, eyes sunken, clothes torn, like they'd been buried in dirt. Then the light flickered and went out. We screamed, fumbling for backup lights. When the beam came back, the figure was gone. That's when the air changed again. The smell of earth grew stronger, mixed with something else, something foul, like rot and old blood. We heard another sound, closer this time, a dragging noise, like someone crawling across the rocks. "Keep the light steady," I whispered. We waited, frozen. Then, just beyond the beam, something moved slow, deliberate. A hand, pale, dirt-covered, reaching out from the shadows. Tyler screamed and ran. Mason chased after him, and I followed, but the tunnel split into two directions. I shouted their names, but the echoes came from everywhere, overlapping until I couldn't tell which way was real. Then I heard Tyler's scream, a single sharp cry that cut off suddenly, and the mine went silent again. I was alone, completely alone. I turned slowly, light shaking in my hands, heart slamming in my chest. And just for a moment, just before the light flickered, Gunny saw him, a man in a torn miner's uniform, standing only a few feet away. His face caked in dirt, eyes hollow, mouth moving without sound. Then everything went black. When I opened my eyes, I didn't know how long I'd been out. My flashlight was still in my hand, its beam flickering weakly against the rock ceiling. My head throbbed, my throat burned from the dust. For a moment, I couldn't remember where I wasn't till I heard the sound. Drip, drip, drip. The same sound of water echoing through the tunnel. And then it hit me. The darkness, the cold, the silence. Tyler and Mason were gone. I tried calling their names, but my voice was hoarse, barely a whisper. The only reply was the echo bouncing back, twisted and delayed, like someone was repeating it from deep underground. I forced myself to move, stumbling through the dark. The ground felt soft in places, like the earth was breathing beneath my boots. My flashlight beam caught glimpses of broken helmets, rusted tools, and once what looked like the corner of a torn uniform buried in the dirt. I told myself they were just relics from the old miners. But then I saw the fresh handprints smeared on the wall, still wet. I wasn't alone. The air grew thicker the deeper I went. I could taste metal in my mouth.